Masters and guests, good evening once again.
Good evening.
Let me call upon the role players with Akhota Srinivas. Thank you.
Prem used 2 short passes, 1 long pass. Appu 2 short passes, 1 long pass. Srinivas had 3 short passes and 2 long passes. Vinod 2 short passes and 3 long passes. Priyanka flawless. Rahul 1 short pass. Manjusri 3 short passes. That's all.
My name is support Achu.
Good evening everyone. People who use the word of the day today, the MC, Mr. Vinod, the table topic master, Mr. Santosh Paul, and also the president during the break. Which is what you're supposed to do, use it in your day-to-day life. Good usage of the English language today, Mr. Prem with a thundering applause. That was a good image, but it should have been with a thundering round of applause. Appu robbed the bread from the houses. Very good usage. Very good. Somewhere. Okay. Mr. Vinod, heart of a lion, fist of iron. Very nice rhyme. And he ruled the land, the sea, and the sky. Again, great images. Not so good usage today. Before joining Toastmasters, if I have to speak in front of. I believe it should have been if I had to speak in front of. Another one gives us topics in random, it should have been at random. It's lion and not loin. Loin is something else altogether. And solution to encounter mobile effect. I believe that should have been solution to counter the effect of mobiles. That's it. Thanks.
Rahul, can we have time?
Meeting started on time at 7 o'clock. In the prepared speeches, first speaker Appu took 8 minutes 9 seconds. Second speaker Mr. Srinivas Raju took 7 minutes 33 seconds. Third speaker Mr. Vinod took 13 minutes 12 seconds. And in table topic session, speaker 1 Priyanka took 1 minute 35 seconds. Speaker 2 was me 42 seconds. Speaker 3 Manjusri 1 minute 8 seconds. Speaker 4 Srinivas 1 minute 6 seconds. And speaker 5, Mr. Bhairat, 1 minute 28 seconds. Speaker 6, Bharat Das, 1 minute 56 seconds.
This is not Priyanka.
Good evening, Toastmasters. How many of you all made note of numbers today, used today? Did anybody make note of all the numbers used today? Don't worry, I'm not asking. Okay. To begin with, the Sergeant at Arms said something about pebbles. What does the pebble signify?
The
I want 3 things.
Okay, your job, your friends, and
I'm sorry, it's wrong.
Family, friends, and what?
Sorry. The right answer is job, house, and car. Those are the exact 3 words that we use. Mrinalini, in her presidential address, used an adjective to describe her husband. What was that?
That's crazy.
You get it right? Women never forget. Men never forget. Okay. Appu took part in a youth exchange program. What was it called? Akshu.
should I answer? Okay,
Akshu, please.
Kizuna.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not fair.
Tiebreaker? Tiebreaker?
No, we'll have 2 more questions. The speaker 2 had 1 exclamation. What was it? Had 3 exclamations. What was the 3rd exclamation?
Ayo!
Excellent. Okay, so it is between Achu, Ram Gopal, and Ayo. What was the first topic that Mr. Bharadas got? Achoo.
If you had to choose, if you had to take someone on a date, who would it be and where would you take them?
Can we have a better answer?
You could take your favorite actor or actress to a date. Who would he or she be and where would you take?
That is right. So it's between the four of you and only the four of you can answer now.
Give it to me.
Who's that? Okay. What is Project 9 called? What is Project 9 called? Mr. Rangopal.
Persuasive speech. Persuade your audience.
Persuading with power. Persuading with power.
Okay, this is the last question. I really need to give that takeaway soon. Who was the second table topic speaker? Michael.
Rahul.
Okay.
Finally, we have a winner.
Good.
So let me get the evaluation for the meeting. Started on time. I noticed that Saab was really wanted to use, like looking around, it's time, Vinod is playing with the laptop, and he's telling Vinod, just stop this, get back to the seat. But that was good. That's it's a fantastic leadership thing you displayed today. We're starting that meeting on time. Let's give him a round of applause. It's a wonderful story about the philosophy teacher. I've heard this a lot of times. I think there's another element of water there. But this, you bring this aspect of priorities. And then you mentioned that Toastmasters would be the big rock. And I believe that too. And then you call the mother of sunshine, one of the biggest rocks. For that wonderful address, let's give the sergeant of But not only, that's it. How many of you have had dogs as pets? She connects this dog story, and there is this fear when you go out seeing dogs, seeing stray dogs. And it's something that a lot of people go through. I've seen people just walk away, run away. You can see this fear on the face. You mentioned about the heart beating faster. But then you grow up with a pet, and then it all seems so normal. At one point of time, I think my wife had 20 cats in her house. 20. So she can read everything about a cat. But there are similar fear when you mentioned about the body language, about speaking in Toastmasters, and you connect this to fear. That was a wonderful connection you made. And there are similar methods to overcome these fears. Great connection, great story. And you got the MC with a great introduction. Let's give our president today a big round of applause. At some points though, you're reading from the notes. And I believe if you're doing notes, do it continuously. Don't stop in between and go back to notes and then again come back and give your speech. If you're doing it, do it consistently. But I do believe that you shouldn't be looking at notes so far in your career in Toastmasters. Toastmaster train. We started off with the Toastmasters program. We threaded the entire meeting to the theme of the day. And I believe he's done wonderful homework. He called me, and I'm sure from all that he read, he's got all the speakers, all the role players, and he's put this theme across and tried to get answers over there. And he read that Ludwig scored very convincingly. Good homework, good philosophy speakers, and there's one quote you mentioned in between: genius has its limitations. This is something that I absolutely believe. When I look at Sachin Tendulkar, when I look at Roger Federer, when I look at other geniuses, they are geniuses only in their fields. They can't think beyond that. So they have their limitations. We kept the energy going. At some point, sometimes you're bending. You just might be right. And at one point, you call the evaluator to give you guidelines. And you walk back to your seat, and then you come back again. You stay at the lecture. And you mentioned about time. time is not only the cheese. From the moment the meeting starts at 7 o'clock, it's a countdown to 8:30. Everybody here is responsible for maintaining the time. And especially the Toastmaster. Toastmasters should keep looking at the time and ensure that everything is going well, you're staying on time. Every part of the meeting, you need to know when to stop, prepare speeches, when table talk should start, when it should end, and all these things should be going on. You need to know, you are the boss of the meeting in terms of time. You kept the energy going, you had a great meeting. Let's give the MC a big round of applause. First speaker, Apu, evaluated by Mr. Santosh.
General Evaluator, Toastmaster, guest, Mr. Apu in particular. This project 7 is about researching your speech topic. But I was started at the way you started your speech today. Got down from the airline with the bag on your shoulder. Because it was very unique. You didn't talk about any particular subject as such. And then you went on to explain your experience in Japan. This one calls for a lot of information from different resources and to get information from different places. And they say the best way is to talk about what you already know about the subject or about your personal experience about the subject. And I think you exactly did what you said about it, your personal experience of visiting Japan. Your general purpose was to speak about the Fukushima nuclear disaster in Japan and the status of Japan as on today, though this happened about 2 years back. And your specific purpose is to tell the world that Japan is a safe place to live. I felt you gathered a lot of information during your exchange program. You have given us a lot of statistics about the air quality in Japan when compared to other places in the world. What steps the government is taking to dispel such fears of the people in Japan who are living outside Fukushima. You said Fukushima was a beautiful resort, and what was the negative impact of the nuclear disaster, how it has affected the life in Fukushima. What I liked was you had a lot of good usage of the language. You said freezing cold outside, but people with warm hearts inside. You built beautiful images of the places which you described with your wonderful words. And especially you said the whole world believed that the world was flat until the scientists in 1519 to 21 went about that thing and they discovered and proved to the world that it was spherical. So these suggestions for improvement, I think, as usual, you need to take a little more care about your body language and vocal variety. In your conclusion, you said, harmful rumors were damaging Japan more than the nuclear disaster itself. And you should fight fire with fire. And the best way to do it is spread healing facts. Tell the world Japan is safe. And your suggestion that if you get a chance to visit Japan, grab it. I would grab it if I get a chance.
Wonderful evaluation. Few more points from my side. We're standing in one place. As I noticed in the last few speeches, we're standing in one place. We need to use the stage a little more. When you're doing conversation, you're looking somewhere else, you're looking at the walls or someplace outside. You can actually look at the audience. You did this, I think, in the previous speech also. You're looking at somewhere around the wall. You can actually look at the audience when you're making a conversation. About time, I think again you have gone over time. There's this aspect about time, and it's in general. Like when I started speaking, I used to do 950 to 970 words. Because I used to speak so fast. It was all there in memory and I would just throw it out. But now it comes to a point where you pause, you think, you speak. So then you need to cut down on your words in speech. You cannot work at the same 950 words when I started speaking. So now I do, I think, less than 800 words in my speech to ensure that I finish within 7.5 minutes. You can work on that because you come through, just don't stick to what you started off with, maybe 900 words. There's this thing about context. You're moving from landing in Japan and I'm wondering what's the story of, what's the speech about. And then you go to a town near Fukushima and I'm wondering what's the story. And then you talk about radiation. Okay, is that the story? Is that the name? And then you talk about harmful rumors. Is that the speech all about? And then you talk about the world being flat. Too many things. You need to work on the context of the speech. But great conviction in whatever he said, for that sincerity in conviction and for the evaluation, let's give them both a big round. Speaker to Santosh, evaluated by everyone.
Evening Toastmasters, General Evaluator, and Srinivas Raju English. Srinivas Raju, today the project showed so much more confidence than what I have seen you before. For that, I would like everyone to give you a big round of applause. You started with an excellent opening. You captured the attention of the audience. No one will all go back home saying, "Ayyo, ayyo" to him. It's unforgettable. And you started with an incident. It was like we were watching it. And in your opening itself, you stated your problem. This is a project which says persuade with power. And you have taken the approach of a problem and a solution method. So you stated your problem right in the beginning. And afterwards, you've given many more examples of why mobile phones kill, how and why they kill, and that it has to be used responsibly. Then you went on, you used all these examples where your credibility was very apparent because you used this incident where you were involved in an accident, where your cousin was involved, where your friend was involved. And then you went on to give the recommendations. In every one of your incidents, there was a logic and there were emotions involved. So we were completely persuaded that using mobile phones is actually harmful for all of us. You went on to give the recommendations. You give in a point-wise 1, 2, 3 recommendations. However, if you had given a recommendation of how it had worked for someone, for example, one of my cousins had a mobile phone, used to use a mobile phone very often, and then he got a very big tumor here. So he was advised by the doctor not to use mobile phones, continuously, and he reduced it to almost nil, and he recovered. So how your solution actually works, you could have given that recommendation. And also there was one more recommendation that don't use mobile phones in group meetings. That didn't actually, that was not a solution to the problem that you stated, because your problem was mobile phones kill. Whereas in group meetings, it disturbs the meeting, so it was not concurrent with your problem. Your ending was beautiful. Somebody is waiting at home to see you with a smile and hug you. It may be your parent, your spouse, or your children. So excellently done speech. And I would also like to go to this evaluation checklist because you've got excellent in all of them. Did the speaker project sincerity and conviction? Yes. Was the speaker a credible source of information? Absolutely. Did the speaker phrase his appeal in terms of audience interest? All of us are interested in that topic because each one of us has a mobile phone. And so it goes on. Was the speech organization effective? Excellent organization. Were you persuaded to accept the speaker's views? Yes. Are we persuaded? Can I have a head count? There you have it. And how could you have made your speech more effective? You could have made the number of incidents stating the problem fewer, and you could have given more recommendations, a little more detailed. I think otherwise your speech was an excellent speech. All the best for your time.
Srinivas Raju, a suggestion from my side. You mentioned at 1.35 lakhs. I was told in my school, when I studied 6th standard, 7th standard, say 1.35. After the decimal point, say 1 digit by digit. You know, go by number 350, 1.35. Then he ended his speech on top. This speech, like what Mrinalini just did now, you need to give it hand. How many of you actually listen and are convinced that you need to use respect? This particular project calls for the raising of arms. We can try that the next time. But I see that you have improved tremendously. And I can see the power of Toastmasters in Srinivas Raju. Speaker 3 evaluated by George.
Good evening, Mr. Toastmaster.
Good evening.
Toastmasters, and Mr. Vinod in particular. The speech was really well delivered, and you had good command over your language and good voice modulation also. But when I go through the guidelines here, the first thing it says is narrow the story to one event. Don't try to tell the life story. That is the first actually point. So when I go through this, actually it looked more like a life story of Ben-Gurion. You started from his birth to what he did and what are the events which happened throughout his life till the end. So it looked more like the life story to me, whereas the project called for one event. I thought you would have picked up one event from that whole life story and then put it across to the audience. That would have made more impact. That's what it looks like here. And the second thing is, you had only one main character, that is Ben-Gurion. And the minimum, I think, 3 characters if you have scope for dialogues, and then the conflict and all other things what it asks for, and those things were missing because of only one main character. So one more thing is, instead of PPT, if you could have described how Ben-Gurion looked, we could have created vivid images in our mind. So that would have been more appropriate because the project asks for it. So that also was missing. That's why I think even dialogues were not too many. But here I think, did you gain greater insight into the historical events? Definitely I did. You had like string of events from his young age to till he became the Prime Minister and all that. And that was really wonderful to know that, he was such a wonderful person. Even I get to know about him. If you had not given this project, I wouldn't have known who was Ben-Gurion, strictly speaking. And what about the climax? Because you did not choose one incident, probably I think even, I don't know how I can say it, but probably the climax also was missing according to me. You ended that the post of Ben-Gurion is still ruling Israel. That is true, but the main things like, if you see in serials, military serials and all that conflict, what is going to happen next, and if you could have narrowed it to one single incident, that would have become more impactful. Otherwise, I think, no doubt your delivery was really wonderful. You have emerged as a very good storyteller. I still remember your last project, your storytelling matter, what you did. It was such wonderful this thing. So probably you can think of working on that point of narrowing it down. That's what I feel when I hear this. So let us see what everybody else can give you the feedback. What it is.
Mr. Vinod, one feedback to myself. Sex, religion, politics, taboo in Toastmasters. I do believe about politics, they touch about religion, it's true. There are sensitive. Is it, I just wanted to ask, is it coming from a book that you read?
Yeah,
Coming from a book.
and it is not propagating religion or calling one religion bad or one religion good.
No, it's not about, it's not about,
religion or that
it's
religion.
not qualifying the religion. There is no kind of qualifying religion. But we are projecting one state or at least another state. And we are trying to prove that one state is right and the other state is wrong. So there is a proof that is coming across. So this message, it's history. But there is a message coming across. So I'm a Christian, I feel about Jews. There might be a Muslim sitting here, but he might feel about the Palestinian side. So there is religion and there is politics. As Pranali said, the voice range is amazing. And with great sincerity and conviction, hear that story. I think we read the book real well. Let's give the speaker and the evaluator a big round of applause. Topic Master Bharati for the first time. You introduced the session very well. And I think that you have not done any speech. Just coming directly, first time I'm doing a tech topic. That means you have been listening carefully, you've been watching the events carefully. For that, let's give her a round of applause. One thing I noticed when you taught people who are not having goals. We were not playing a role, specific role, like a GE and MC. To ensure that you taught people who don't have one. That's wonderful. Keep that going. The topics again, thought-provoking. Your wonderful smile, keep it going. Let's get the topic master. A few other things, general things. I noticed that last so many meetings now, one person walks out, you check whether the snacks have come, then he comes back, he knows whether the snacks have come. I think if you can fix the time with the snack guy to ensure that he's there, you don't have to do that exercise. But I must say that the snacks have been great in recent times. I mentioned that already. I think Saad has a lot to do with it. Let's give another big round of applause. Thank you very much. I hand it back to James.